I mean, all of this legislation is coming down and down and down, and that's breeding a collectivist society where we realize the benefits of adhering to the collective, and then we teach adherence to the next generation. And now we have children, like anybody with a child between the age of 5 and 16, you can look at those children and you can see they are so much less rebellious and less resistant and less independent thinking than we were when we were that age. Because this generation has had to deal with the onslaught of technology and the mobile phone and mobile devices and the internet of everything. So you can see how collectivism it's not politically conspired, it's required for the state to continue to create a consistent engine of economic power. The United States government wants more than anything to remain the only superpower in the world. How do they do that? They do that by controlling their population and making their population as productive as possible. How do you make the population as productive as possible? You ensure that 80% of that population responds in a predictable manner. And then the remaining 20% can either be unpredictable or go on to become the people who generate the most economic success.
Yeah. I certainly agree with you that that is the role of the state. Murray Rothbard wrote the book, The Anatomy of the State, and he framed that up perfectly, right? The purpose of the state is to stay in the state and continue to grow. Just like any business. The purpose of a business, stay in business and to always grow the business. Yeah. And the state is no different. Of course, I would agree with his view in that book, The Anatomy of the State, which for all the listeners, they should read that book. But there is no state. There's you and I. We're individuals, and then collectively we have shared common interests. If someone came in to kill us right now, you and I are certainly going to work together to defeat that person, but then I might want to go surfing and you might want to go play tennis.
Right.
And so we're individuals first, and then collectively we share things in common. I think the problem, and I'll get your take on this, but in my opinion, there's a saying about it, I forget, but it's like with my family, I'm a communist. With my city, I'm like a socialist. But with my country, I'm like a libertarian, right? And so it's it doesn't scale over time. So it's I think to the point that the state grows and continues to assign that, but to have one regime or a group of people 3,000 miles away to tell my kid what time they have to go to school each day, I think is just way too big. And I think it causes a lot of problems that we have. We're trying to cram way too many people into one round or square hole when it doesn't necessarily fit that way. And if you didn't have to manage people down to the minutia detail, then you wouldn't get a lot of that, I would say. But what's your opinion on that?
I would say that's a big question that the world is asking itself right now, right? We're in a phase of global development where it's a very open question. Is democracy or autocracy the better solution? Because democracy, you're right, does not scale well. It's slow, it's cumbersome, it's prone to fits and bursts, it's always prone to resistance, whereas autocracy scales very well, right? Autocracy, once it's established, millions of people fall under it. And it's very clear, black and white, clear rules, clear guidelines, which human beings like. Human beings like being told, here's the left side, here's the right side, you stay in the middle. If you step out of the left or the right, here's what will happen to you. We like that because it's predictable. We may not like losing our freedom if we've tasted freedom, but most countries in the world have never tasted freedom. So to them, it's very free just to know what you can do to not step out of bounds. Yeah. We have to accept the fact that democracy, as we understand it as Americans, is propaganda. It's been something that we've been raised in, we've been brought up in, we've been saturated in it, so of course we believe it's the best thing.